What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Uncle Cyborg Show, where we talk about the biggest topics and our favorite things about video games while keeping it rated E for everyone. I'm Matthew, and joining me is Super Nolan Man, Nolan Daniels,
Ooh, banana.
and also is joining me the Hyrule King, Bo Mitchell.
Yeah.
And today
Oh, that was a good one.
we're talking about all things Switch 2 Direct. But we're gonna get started here
Yeah.
with the hardware, the thing we all expected to see, among the many things revealed at the Switch 2 Direct. We'll start with our first impressions. Super Nolan Man, what's your impressions of the Switch 2 hardware?
Overall, I think it's what everybody should have been expecting going into this. We knew
Yep.
Nintendo wasn't going to mess with the formula the way that they were going into this, which pros and cons to that. There's a lot of people, myself included, who felt like some magic was lost by them not looking to innovate, but instead looking to iterate on the Switch. And iterate they did, but I feel like still in pretty grand fashion. Um, well, I know we'll go into specs in just a little bit here, but for myself, this was exactly what I was expecting going into it, and I feel like this is a good foot forward for Nintendo in terms of hardware specifically. Everything else we can talk about later.
Yep.
All right, Bo, what were your first impressions?
Yeah, I think it's a great upgrade. It's basically what everybody's been asking for a long time. Being able to, well, we'll get into the specs later, but like, yeah, getting the step up that everybody was wanting. In terms of the hardware. Um, and yeah, I think they've added enough new features to keep it fresh while still, um, bringing everything that people were expecting. And
Right.
it's got its own flair that Nintendo brings to the table, which is good. So yeah.
All right, I've got the specs pulled up here, and just for a brief summary, it's a significant size bigger than the Switch. It's about 10.7 inches wide. It's got the 1080 screen, which I know some people were worried they might not do, so that's good to
Which
hear.
this is
Yeah, I'm glad.
this is kind of a big deal because if you played the Switch docked, there was an expectation that docking it would be 1080p, and you know what? It rarely was. There were not a
Yeah.
lot of games that actually had that
Yeah,
1080p support.
that's
So
true.
just that the LCD screen, which by the way, a much better LCD screen than the
Yeah.
Switch, at least from what we can see so far. But also HDR now supported because of that 1080p screen. Uh, great news. Great news. It would have
Yeah.
been this would have been a tough sell if that was not there.
Yep. Also supporting HDR10 and variable refresh rates up to 120 hertz, which I thought.
Which pretty grand considering the I believe it's the Series X and the PS5 Pro are the only two consoles currently supporting 120 hertz.
Yep, it's got a custom-made NVIDIA GPU and CPU. It's to get into the actual. I'll wait to get into the actual build of the thing. Video output, maximum output of 4K 60 FPS. What exactly we'll be able to run that? I'm not too sure. The big thing though is handheld is also 1080p. So it's not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what you guys were
that's
mentioning earlier,
huge.
but that's
Yeah.
big to me because like stuff on the downsizing some of the stuff just didn't look super great to me.
Yeah, so I've been
Yeah, a
playing
lot of
a
times it
lot
didn't.
of I've been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles X recently, and that game in terms of color and style just really pops and looks so good on the OLED Switch. But the aliasing, the textures, the fuzziness of it all is kind of absurd.
I bet.
I was like, there's no way this looked this bad when I played it originally, and it did. I just wasn't playing on an LCD screen, 10 inches from my face.
Yeah.
we try it docked at all, or not really?
I have not had the chance to play it docked, because things typically don't run as well docked in my experience. When I dock things,
Yeah,
I
it depends on
typically
what it is.
lose frame rate, and I'll have occasional stuttering. So I don't play a lot of docked unless it's, unless I'm playing a party game, or it's something that I know is going to run really great. Like I'll
Mhm.
play, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom docked. I'll play Mario, things like that. But a lot of these other games, you start going into things that aren't in-house Nintendo, but kind of like in their yard, like Monolith Soft.
In their yard. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to, you know wait a bit. Game Freak, stuff like that.
Then also one of the other big topics that I was seeing people talk about, battery life. It is on average going to be a little bit less than the the OLED and whatnot, which I don't mind because it's significantly more powerful.
Yeah.
And
I was expecting
you're
less.
just not going to have for a good price, like something affordable. You're not going to have
Yeah.
crazy battery life on something that's pushing out up to 4K.
Yeah, we're gonna see, um we're gonna see for ourselves when it eventually comes out. But until then, we just have kind of what's given to us. And from what we're hearing it between 2.5 to 6 hours, which is what the Switch One was purported to do before launch. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what it did do. It wasn't until the second iteration that kind of replaced it, when they did kind of like a console refresh around 2019, I believe it was, that got you that 4 to 9 hours battery life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. You can get like a portable like charger pack. That helps a lot
Yeah.
if you need it.
All I really need out of a Switch is I need it to be able to play during my flight and during my layover. If it
Yeah.
can if it can do that,
Exactly that.
then I can just charge it in between. If I really need to go a long ways, I can just bring a portable battery pack or something. I think
Yeah.
I think 2.5 to 6 hours is fine. I would absolutely love more of it. I'd be impressed if they could do more. But I wasn't expecting anything more than what they're showing us.
Yeah. Yeah, and that dock. Man, there's a lot of really cool stuff to that dock. Like, I'm so glad they finally added a fan. That's gonna help a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a minor thing, but like not having it overheat. There would be times I would take it out of the dock and it would be like, man, this thing is hot.
Yeah.
Dude. It definitely gets hotter when it's not in the dock, but every once in a while, it'd be like, yeah, I
And
mean, fan is good.
moving on to kind of actual hardware features, I guess. They finally added a microphone.
Before you,
Oh, yeah. What's up?
before you move away from specs, can I shout out a couple more things that have been confirmed
Sure.
since? On the NVIDIA side, so Nintendo did not come out with this. NVIDIA, who provide the chipset for the Switch 2, confirmed RTX support and DLSS.
Oh, cool.
So what that means is that a lot of this 4K is going to be up-resing.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I know people don't like the word AI being used, but it's AI upscaling. But that's so commonplace
so that is
now,
the thing.
and it's so effective. And this is actually what we were hearing the entire run-up leading to things. GDC 2023, was it? No. Games 2023 is we were hearing behind doors demos being done where they were showing Breath of the Wild running in 4K to these to their partners, and boasting that AI upscaling, DLSS support, ray tracing, which I knew we were seeing ray tracing in that Mario in that first teaser where they're showing Mario Kart. Now we call it Mario Kart World. which is fantastic. This puts it in parity with a lot of the high-end handheld gaming PCs that are out there. You know, your ROG Allies, your uh, lower tier Steam Decks, which
Yep.
makes sense. They really had to do this. They
Yeah,
were
they did.
not going to do well by not taking this a big step up, which in terms of specs and what they're able to do for the first time in a long time, Nintendo is there's parity with the big console releases. There's
It's
parity
kind of
with
surreal.
PlayStation 5
In some
and
regard.
Xbox Series X. It doesn't run as well as those things necessarily. It doesn't have as much processing power. I'm sure that when people get their hands on the Switch edition of Cyberpunk, they're going to be like, okay, this isn't, quite as nice. At this point, I'm just hoping things run well.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. That's cool that the AI upscaling is confirmed though.
Yeah, and that's something that's only going to get better
That's kind of
too.
what I figured.
Yep. And that I doubt that means that it supports everything. I think it's
Probably
just there for those who know how to use it.
Yeah.
Same with HDR. They've said it many times. Like every time they mention it, they say HDR support. So I wonder if that means they're some games that are HDR in other places. Maybe they're like, it's not quite working out for us to do it on the Switch version, so we're just gonna opt to not take advantage of that HDR support to make it run better. So I'm sure we'll still have some games where we're like, oh, because again, this isn't quite on par with your PS5 and Xbox Series X, but it's closer to that than it is a PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So moving on to the actual hardware features we have, they're finally putting a microphone in it. I know there's mixed opinions on the microphone placement,
In the console.
which
So
I kind of get because your hands are kind of on the thing.
Yeah, I think it'll work well for like portable. It's for
Yeah.
dock, I guess like the better option would be they finally have a headphone jack in the Pro controllers, which is really cool. Just you could just do it that way and that'd be
Yeah.
feel.
man, I really hope that if I'm playing on a Pro controller and I plug in a headset with a microphone, that it allows me to just use my microphone. I
would
don't
assume.
I don't
That'd
care
be
how
so
much
weird.
work they've put into their tech being like, oh, you can run a blender in the background and it won't hear it. It'll just pick up your voice. I'll believe it when I hear it.
Yeah.
I do not believe it for a second.
I was
So
saying, I don't know if you were there. I was telling Bo today what that means when they say like background noise removals means like you're talking and then all of a sudden it kind of goes like this while you're talking.
Oh, I was wondering you're
because it's
talking to
cutting
Katie.
out-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cutting out the background
Yeah,
noise while you're
it's
talking.
it's gonna be a worse version of what Discord has already been doing well for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
especially because it's like their first go at it.
Yeah.
Versus like
Which I'm sure
PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah, there
Discord
was
stuff,
already
they've been-
some hiccups. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
There was some hiccups in the presentation. It was like, oh boy.
Oh, are
We'll
you
see how
really
it
talking
goes.
about the frame rate for the game share?
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. I got a good chuckle out of that.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling about the Joy-Cons? The Joy-Con 2, the bigger and badder.
DEF CON.
Yep. How are we feeling about the
And they're black.
the mouse? Is that about working about how we thought it was? I doubt anybody's really too excited to.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
even showed it the way that I had guessed last week with like Civilization or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar to how I thought it was gonna work. It looks more uncomfortable than a regular mouse. So
Yeah. I wonder if
Yeah,
they'll maybe have
I
an
will-
attachment or something to like make it kind of bigger. Something. Maybe like you put on
We'll
the bottom
see.
or something.
So
some people like
Yeah.
mouses like that where it's thinner. So maybe it'll be okay.
yeah, we'll see. We know that with your button clicks, you can use that R1, R2, whatever, or R and ZR that they have
Yeah.
on the top of it, but you can also use your side buttons there. So it's or like the regular face buttons, they just become a regular kind of like up, down, left, and right,
Almost like
versus
a numpad.
a little bit, yeah. But you
Mhm.
can totally substitute your clicks for your face buttons there, which is the right call. But when you put it into
Yep.
mouse mode, you lose a lot of the functionality out of it. Like those face buttons aren't face
Mhm.
buttons anymore, at least from what we're seeing out of the
They're just
demos
mouse
that were
buttons.
done.
Yeah.
Um, so this is
That's
very
nice.
much going to be, it's a thing for the games that have it integrated, and it's going to be for things like your Civilization and then just whatever Nintendo games do it. I don't think this is
Yep.
going to be the new way to play Call of Duty,
Yeah.
as much as I think that'd be cool.
It'd be cool if you could have like both at the same time, like a
Yeah,
hybrid that some people do.
and maybe you can. You mean have your left Joy-Con just
Aiming with
be a Joy-Con and then have your
Yeah.
mouse be the that is how it works. Yes, that's how at least that's how they demoed it with Prime 4.
Oh, I meant like on COD. I don't think COD will do that. But
Oh
maybe
no,
they'll.
I don't think COD will, because you've definitely got to put in the support for it.
And as it is, can we trust that the like response will be good on that?
I think it'll be good enough. I mean,
For like
you
It'll be
strategy
decent,
games
yeah.
and stuff, which is probably what everybody's gonna be using it for anyway. I assume it'd be fine. But like for anything that required like fast movement,
I guess we'll find out when Prime 4
My-
comes out.
honestly, my only thing about it is that it's wireless.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, the wireless could be a problem.
I mean, yeah, any, you know, anybody and their mother at this point can make a working mouse. It feels like, there are some
Yeah, they're a
really
bit
cheap
easier.
mice that you can get. I believe that's still the plural, but
moose.
Yeah.
but it's been a long time. I don't think I've had
Oh.
latency on a mouse since like 2007. So I'm pretty sure that Nintendo's going to have it at least
Yeah.
working good enough. But I think it'll be on par with other wireless, mice. Maybe not your highest end of things, but it'll be on par with other wireless mice, I would assume.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, and the biggest meme from the direct, the Nintendo
camera.
Switch 2 camera.
So good.
Two questions. First impressions.
They had to make at least one gimmicky thing,
Yeah.
and this is
What do you think of it? And is there like any reason to actually have this at all?
so lame.
Because I think they could have just done webcam support if they really wanted to have like
Yeah.
video.
And I wonder if he can. I wonder if there will be.
I hope.
I'll say this much: I guarantee within 6 months we will have third-party Switch cams.
Probably.
And you know
That
what?
thing's gonna get like discounted pretty fast too. I think that not a lot of people are gonna get it.
I didn't see anything about this, but did they announce anything like being able to stream off of the Switch? Because you know how like Xbox and PlayStation, you can stream your stuff off it and plug in a camera.
Don't
Not
think
directly.
so.
No,
Okay.
they did
It
not
was just the
mention that.
stuff.
There's nothing built into the UI
Okay.
to make that happen. It would just be, it would be how people do it now on the regular Switch. You would have to find your own path forward. For me, I don't think the camera is going to be something that I pick up. Maybe not even at any point.
I don't think I'll
but
ever pick it up.
I've already talked to a couple people who are planning on getting the camera, basically for their kids, because they think it's really cool for the kids, right? Put yourself in a Mario Party, just like they showed there. Like for them, that is the coolest thing. Or if you have your younger ones who you don't quite trust them, just hop on PSN and not talk to strangers or whatever. So, but maybe you are comfortable with, hey, you want to get in the little party with your cousins who live 50 miles away, and you guys want to play Mario Party on Friday night and have your little webcams out so you can see each other. I'd say if I was 10 years old again, I would think that's super
Yeah.
dope. I'd be so into
Yeah,
that.
totally.
So I think there is
Yeah.
a group of people that this means something to. I think it's just not the majority of people who are picking up a Switch. I think it's really just there to. This is there for the NBC presentation that happens later. You're watching CBS News or whatever, and they're telling the moms and the grandmas like, "Hey, Nintendo announced their new console," and then you see this little snapshot of like a camera and these kids, playing on there with their friends, being able to see each other. They're like, "Oh, my kids would love that." I think I feel like that's what it's there for. It's really just there to catch the eye of of parents and aunts and uncles. I don't think it's I don't think Nintendo is so deceived
Yeah, they're not banking
to
on
think
it.
that
Yeah.
that this is going to work for streamers or anything like that.
I'm surprised they didn't go with some gimmick like scan yourself and put you like in the game. Like do like a little spin.
Like the DS.
Yeah, like spin, and then it just replaced the Mario Party character like with your sprite or whatever.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
That-
Part of me
I
is
would
wondering
love
if they do it. Part of me is wondering if we get
what did
there.
I say? It's $50.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Probably means the camera.
I could see-
Yeah, how's the camera
We
that
did-
cheap, and then the controllers are like almost double the price of the camera?
Well, I mean, because the camera is bad.
I know,
We saw it.
but still.
Yeah.
That's a bad camera for $50. That is a $20 camera. They stuck a Switch
Considering
logo
these
on,
that we
and
got
sold it
right
for
here
50.
were what, 25, 30, 35, something like that.
and it's 3 times the resolution of
Yep.
these Nintendo webcams. I'm assuming we don't.
They
know
should have
what the
just gone to
resolution
Logitech.
is
Hey
yet.
man, you want to put your camera in this little Switch mount?
Seriously.
Last time
They
they
put the
did
Switch
that,
camera. They put
got
the original
burned
Switch
by
camera
Philips.
in a little dock, and they sold it to you for $50.
Yeah, they did add quite a bit to the dock. It'd be
Yeah,
a
which
little-
I'm glad about, because like both originally told me the price of the dock. I was like, because I assumed that there was nothing
Yeah, the
special
dock on
about
its
it.
own.
Oh, so we did. Oh yeah, it's $109, right?
Yeah, you guys better not be breaking your Switches.
Right.
No
Right.
kidding.
How much was? Does
Yeah.
anybody
Well-
have a rough idea of how much the original docks were?
A lot less. It was like $50, $70 ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Somehow that seems like
It's
a
a
lot
lot less.
worse a deal, considering it was just like it was HDMI with a LAN cable on it.
100%. 100%. That's all it was. It was
There are some third party
It was
ones
a-
that were cheap.
Yeah.
it was just a hard shell dongle. That's all it was.
That's
Alright.
There's technically a little bit more than that, but that's basically it.
Anybody have any final thoughts they want to add on to the hardware? Overall, I think personally, it's just fine for a sequel console.
Yeah.
I
mean,
you
yeah,
improve on
the
the
Pro
on
controller looks
the stuff.
the same. The
Yeah,
Joy-Cons
this
look
is
mostly
a-
the same.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
I know we talked about the mouse functionality with the Joy-Con. The rest of it, now that we've seen people's impressions with hands on the sticks,
Mhm.
I think these Joy-Con are going to be pretty dope. I know that
They
$30
fixed the
really
joystick.
more, 15 a piece. So yes, that's part of the reason that they've switched this magnet technology. Is Nintendo burned themselves with putting out these Joy-Con, knowing that drift was a problem. It came out in a lawsuit that
Yeah.
Nintendo knowingly put it out, knowing that this was going to be a major issue, and all controllers that have your little joystick, little thumbsticks, they are going to
Yeah.
have drift. Period. But Nintendo knew that there was an additional problem on top of that things were sliding underneath, and that they were not built to last any significant amount of time. Which is why, for anybody watching who has Joy-Con with drift, Nintendo was still being forced for I don't know how much longer. It was just X amount of years, but I know we're still good. You can send in those Joy-Con, and Nintendo legally have to fix them for you and send them back. It'll take a little time, but they'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, this magnet technology, everybody says it feels fantastic. No latency. They're not feeling any kind of hiccup as things are moving around. That is just a very smooth experience with them. So that's cool.
Nobody broke their
The
Joy
new
Cons off the Switch like all those dudes online were saying.
I don't know why
No,
that was
it's
even
it was
such a dumb claim.
Yeah.
it was never gonna happen. One, because the magnet power inside of it is already so strong that you're not gonna get any real bend
Yeah, it's
out of
holding
it.
it in there.
But also, like, I don't know I don't know
You
what
have to
people thought
really
these were gonna
try
be.
to break that off.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to put it in there at an awkward angle to try and like actually snap the thing off.
Yeah.
So
It never made sense. It's not deep enough, and they're not thin enough pieces for that. It's a solid piece of hardware. But anyways, the new sizes of things seem to be pretty great. For me, I always felt like the Joy-Con were too small. And you know what I really like? Give me 1 second.
a little bit awkward to snap on sometimes. I think he's grabbing one.
Sorry, guys, I had accidentally unplugged my headphones.
Oh, good.
So, you see these here?
Oh
These
yeah, they made
stupid
those
little
bigger with
things.
the Switch too. Yeah.
They are, to me, they look like they're 3 times bigger. I know they're not. I know it's probably not even
They are
quite
bigger.
2.
Yeah.
But they're a fair bit bigger, and they
And
finally
the
look
buttons
like
are
they
like
can.
deeper too,
Yeah,
from the looks of it.
yeah,
Will help.
they stick out a little bit more. They're legit buttons now. Where these are,
Those buttons are terrible on the Joy-Con 1.
they're so bad. And
Yeah.
what
I've
sucks
had
is you
multiple
get.
people complain about them whenever I hand
Yeah.
somebody one.
Do I have a thing on here? I don't. But if you slip the little grip on top of it and you try to use those, it's somehow worse because they were just so cheaply made that you don't even get a full button press a lot of times.
Yep.
And now with these, I mean, by the looks of it, I don't think we're gonna need to slip anything on them. I mean, it's there
Probably not.
if we want it, especially if you're just going to use the Joy-Con separately, like sometimes I will lazily do on the couch. But man, those button changes, big deal for me. I feel like they might be upcharging a little bit at $90, but I also feel like they were upcharging at 60 before. So maybe things are
Yeah.
par for the course. I feel like these make a lot of sense at $60. I would understand 70. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of gaming right now.
Yeah. Speaking of gaming,
I don't mind the Pro controller at 80. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Considering like what is a PS4 one right now, 70.
I think it's at 80.
Oh, is
60.
it 80? I don't think
Oh.
are they 60? I don't know. It depends.
DualSense I think are a little bit more. You said PS4 though.
Oh, I did.
The PS4 controllers, yeah, the DualShock
PS5
4
controllers.
was $60. I think these PS5 controllers are 70.
Okay.
That's
I
yeah.
mean, I
that's
can
what I
look it up real quick.
70 or 80.
But speaking of games, unless anybody has anything else to add on to the hardware there,
I'm good.
before we get into like the big announcements,
75
Okay.
for the DualSense. And I don't think
Okay.
that was the launch price. I think that's gone up a
Probably
little bit.
not.
So, but 75 is what we're looking at for those.
before we get into the big announcements for the games, I want to just take a moment here and highlight some of the third-party support that they announced, because that's huge.
Yeah,
'cause
there's
you
been
can
a
only put
lot.
out so much first-party stuff, in even the first year or two of the launch. So having like the big third-party is really going to help. You've got the sports games, your Madden 2K and stuff. Those will probably run significantly better than the Switch version. Swift Fiction's coming, Cyberpunk, like you mentioned, Hogwarts Legacy, Borderlands 4, Hitman, some big titles coming out, and then also,
And so
Stuff
many of
that
these are day
haven't come
one.
out yet.
yep, and then
Yeah.
Elden Ring as well, announced for a 2025 release. And so that's big because the Switch kind of had a reputation for like if you could make a good port on the Switch, you were like the best dev ever.
A wizard.
Yeah.
Well, that's why there was one group that their whole thing was
Those
we're
guys are
making ports of the
crazy.
big games,
Yep.
and I wish that I could remember their name, because they were a real juggernaut of making this magic happen.
Yeah, I don't remember what their name was.
Yeah, and I was surprised at how much kind of stuff was announced because we weren't really. I mean, we were probably like, what were you guys expecting? Maybe like a game or two
Oh, from third party?
from like day one stuff.
I thought they might do real like they did. They definitely showed more than I thought they were gonna do. That's true.
Yeah, is any there specifically that are kind of standing out that you're more excited for the third party stuff? I mean, obviously, I'm most excited to see how Elden Ring's going to run on that because I keep bringing up it doesn't run super great even on your PlayStation 5s or your Xbox Ones or Xbox Series X's. They run fine. It's just you get certain areas where even there it chugs a little. So I'm curious to see what they have to do to get it to not do that on
Yeah.
Switch.
It was actually Saber Interactive is who I was thinking of for those
Okay.
Switch
That was
ports.
it.
Saber Interactive, who do a lot more than just.
Those are the guys who did the
ports.
Kingdom Come port, because those guys, I mean, the game's not playable, but then again, it's not really playable on the original hardware
Yeah,
it was
it's kind
launched
of
on.
glitchy on.
So,
Yeah. It's true.
the fact that they can boot is pretty good.
That is pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on the third-party support side, aside from
I have two.
I felt like it was weird that we didn't see Skyrim, because Skyrim's on everything except for Switch 2
We'll
now.
see it.
We'll see it. I just thought it was funny.
I'm sure they.
Elden Ring is
like,
the new
it's
Skyrim,
coming.
anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's coming, and they just were like, it's not even worth putting it on the presentation.
Yeah.
Yep. And then my other thing is, it was, even though it was just part of the sizzle reel, it was nice to see a confirmation official that Silksong is 2025.
Yeah. It's
Which
still the
is-
same footage from the last time we saw it, but just seeing
Yeah.
it again is
I-
incredible.
I
at this
thought for
point.
sure that we were gonna see it played in the Nintendo Treehouse, but they kept it mostly
Yeah.
first party. I might be maybe entirely first party. I'm not sure.
I think it was all the first party, yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on, probably the biggest bombshell from the Switch Direct
man.
we have and haters hate to see it, but we've got an exclusive game for the Nintendo Switch.
When it first came up, Nolan and I were watching it. I was like, "Man, is this exclusive?" And I don't think it like registered. It like either didn't.
Oh, we're talking about
register with Nolan,
Duskbloods?
Duskbloods.
Yeah.
The Duskbloods.
or like he
Yes.
just didn't think it was. And then
Well,
like,
I
at the
saw
end,
it.
came
I
up.
saw that said exclusively for Switch 2, and I was like, "Cool, it's on Nintendo Switch 1." Because I thought there was no way that FromSoft was going exclusive again. But
Yeah.
sure enough, this is from the ground up, was made with Nintendo in mind,
Yeah,
which
crazy.
is. And watching that trailer, that was one of those moments where,
It looks so cool.
wait,
it looks so cool in
we
there.
were still on chat together when that happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one where I look over and I'm like, dude, is this Bloodborne 2?
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yeah, we were
Bloodborne
saying that
2 a
multiple
Switch
times.
game? Because so much of it looked like it. We're seeing some of these characters move around in just a certain way, but nope, not quite. It's
Takes a lot
entirely
of inspiration
original.
from it. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So this is going to be PvPvE, and you are playing on different types of maps while you are competing to be basically the Bloodlord, and by killing other enemies and eventually the other players as you grow stronger. So
Yeah.
little kind of 8-man battle royale kind of thing.
How you guys feel about FromSoft doing back-to-back multiplayer games, huh?
It's interesting. I hope
Mm.
they're not chasing trends with this. But
It could
I
just
mean,
be
I like
Nintendo was
Night
like, "Hey,
Rain
can
when
you
I
make us a
played it.
multiplayer game or something?" Maybe they caught wind of
We don't
Night
know
Rain
how
or
to make
something.
one.
Because I assume is Night Rain coming to Switch too?
We still don't have any word about Night Rain coming
I
to
doubt
Switch
it.
2. I don't think that Nintendo will have the we'll just say the
Capacity.
broadband to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So it
But
could be like, "Hey,
no,
they caught wind of it, wanted
I mean,
their
it's
own
releasing
multiplayer
bore
thing."
the Switch too, so
there's that as well. So maybe it'll just come later. But um maybe Nintendo said, "Hey, we actually don't want you bringing Night Rain if you're going to be doing Duskbloods." I don't know. Hard to say with that. But
well, it is Miyazaki leading up this one, so maybe he
yes,
saw
so
what Night Rain was doing and wanted to make his own.
or maybe Night Rain is in response to
knows?
Duskbloods, because Duskbloods was originally for Switch 1, and then
Oh, really?
and then Nintendo
Okay.
was like, "Hey, we've solidified what we're doing with Switch 2. This is what things are going to be like. Would you rather just hold off and do this for Switch 2?" And Miyazaki saw what they could do with Switch 2. He said, "Absolutely. We're going to pause development briefly and pick it back up when you can
$90, all right.
some
Sorry.
80." But yeah.
Well,
70 or 80.
Physical.
A physical has no upcharge.
Anyway,
I don't know where that was coming from. It was a different territory, is what people were posting from. But anyways,
that's a different topic.
we'll come to that whole can of worms. Anyways, cool that this is Miyazaki led when Night Rain is not a Miyazaki joint. That's just the B team. Where again, Miyazaki where this was a smaller team that got expanded when this became a Switch 2 project. According to an interview they did with Miyazaki that's available on the Nintendo website. I'd recommend it if you're interested in this game.
I've been meaning to. I need to look at that.
I will say that he did say in there that this is their other projects in development are all single player. And because he said
That's
I know doing
these.
He basically said like, "Hey, I know doing these back to back seems like we're chasing trends, but it just happened to work out that way. All of our other projects are currently single player focused, in the way that FromSoft games typically are. Where you have some multiplayer elements, but it's designed with a single player in mind. Yeah. I will say that I'm not. I was much more excited for this until I saw that it was this PvPvE game.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be my jam. I'm still going to give it a shot because it's a Miyazaki joint. Like it's like a Christopher Nolan movie coming out. Like, yes, I'm going to check it out because this guy knows what he's doing.
The
and if
concepts
he says
in
that
the
he
trailer
can make
alone
something
hooked
with
me.
this, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. For me, I'm glad that this is a thing. Whether or not I end up enjoying it, I'm glad that this exists. I think this is such a cool get.
Totally.
All right. Moving on to the big boys.
Yep.
Or seem a little less big in comparison to that news, but I want to start it off with the round of Switch 2 Nintendo games coming out. Little Kirby Air Riders coming out.
Man, when this happened,
so wild.
So
can't believe
wish
that's
that
the game that Sakurai came back for. That was not what I would have expected.
Yeah, this is Michael Jordan coming back to the Chicago Bulls.
Yep, out of retirement.
Yeah, totally.
Video games needs me. What are you gonna do? Make a sequel to Kirby Air Ride.
What happened to Kirby Air Ride, man?
I wish that I was still on. I wish I was still on Discord. When this came up, I had to get ready for work, and I did drop off the call when this, because me and Bo were watching this live. But when when this came up, you just see Kirby kind of falling through space in his little warp star, whatever. And I was like, okay, this isn't how they would
until.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't think this is how they would do a Smash announcement. So this is probably just the next Kirby game. It makes sense. We get Kirby every here and there, and then he gets the thing going, and then you see the jets come off, and I literally like hands against the walls next to me. I was like, there was no way that was the quickest I've gone from to oh.
Yeah, as soon as the
It
jets
was-
come out, I was like, this is not what I think it is.
Yeah.
So cool.
Fantastic.
All-time
Honestly,
classic.
I'll be real. My most anticipated game of the direct.
Yeah.
I know that's crazy to say
really?
with Mario
All
Kart
right.
World looking as cool as it does, but my most anticipated game of the direct.
I'm definitely
Save for
hyped
maybe
to see
Silk
more
Song.
of it.
You know what's crazy, man? When that game hits the shelves, it's going to be cheaper than it is to buy the first Kirby Air Ride.
Man,
Yeah,
it could
maybe
be.
it'll be on maybe it'll be on the new thing that came out.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Minor thing to add in there. My prediction was right. They did add the GameCube to the eShop.
Which,
Yeah,
thank you for
GameCube
predicting that,
Online.
Matthew. I'm just going to assume that you spoke
Yay.
that into existence. So way to go.
Yeah, I paid him a visit.
You're like,
It's
hey, I
so
need to
nice
get
to
one
be
of these
more-
right.
I said, hey, can you
please.
borrow some sugar? Or can I borrow some sugar? No, I asked them if they could borrow some sugar. And they said, oh, yeah, I guess I can. And then I lived in my house, and then I bonked him on the head. And I put him in front of the TV. I'm like, all right, you going to do this? And I was showing them a little presentation. And the presentation was their family, like, tied up and in a closet. I was like, so you're going to make the GameCube on the Switch, right? He's like, oh, yeah. And I even
Has
took the
anybody checked
pictures.
on
And then
Doug
he said-
I
Bowser's family?
even took the
And then he
pictures
said
with the
back
Switch camera.
equivalent exchange.
Took the pictures with the
I'm moving Mario
Matthew had Matthew had a game of Mario Party running, and then all the characters are Doug Bowser's families tied up in a closet.
Yep. And we're gonna have the good games, right? We're not just gonna have the poopy ones. Like, oh, fine.
Yeah.
He was so
I mean,
mad.
you
He was
grab it.
steaming. Oh, I have to put good games on the Switch Online, dude.
I mean, and you take the top 5 games for the GameCube, and you've got 2 or 3 of them here, coming out when the thing launches.
I was probably
That's pretty
more
sweet.
surprised with the Pokemon Gale of
Yeah, there's
Darkness
some
being on
great
there.
stuff already.
Not day 1, but yeah, it's coming. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that
on
in
the
Coliseum.
list, yeah.
They
You know,
just really don't like putting
oddly
good games
enough,
on there sometimes.
Twilight Princess, not on the list so far.
It'll come.
But or will we get an HD version?
It's gonna come. They'd be
Yeah.
they'd be crazy not to put it on.
I want the first Animal Crossing on there. I want to be able to
Great.
play
that one
with Joe.
definitely. I think. What would be really crazy? Eternal Darkness. That would be.
Wouldn't
so
that be
cool.
something? Wouldn't that be
I
something?
want that
So,
so
I don't know
bad.
too much
it
about-
won't happen.
I don't know too much
Probably.
about like the Switch Online stuff. How does it look? Like, does it look like they just put a GameCube game on a big screen, or
They
or,
are
like,
well-
Do they
they-
do they like up?
It looks
scale
slightly
them a little
better.
bit?
Usually.
They are well emulated.
Okay.
Now it's to the same proportions as the GameCube
Yeah.
version.
So it's going to be like a square.
We
Yeah.
had people who were at the Nintendo event, who got to play a bit of F-Zero and Wind Waker, I think, were what they had available at that time. Same aspect ratio. It's like playing the GameCube version. If anything, it's just slightly smoother. They said it's not 1-for-1 with the original GameCube version. This is great emulation, which is good to hear.
Yeah.
There were dolphin comparisons being made, but yeah.
All right, Big Noel, what was your outside of Kirby Air Ride? Obviously, what was your most hyped reveal there from the kind of limited stuff that they showed off
on
for
the
Nintendo
first
stuff?
party side, Kirby Air Riders is definitely my game of the direct, but I think that speaks to me personally as somebody who absolutely loves Kirby Air Ride. Kirby Air
Great
Ride
game.
was actually the reason I wanted a GameCube. I remember going to some friends' houses and playing a lot of GameCube games when it first came out, but the one that stuck out to me more than anything else was Kirby Air Ride, even more
game,
than
man.
Smash
Good
Bros.
game.
And Smash Bros. Ended up by a long shot being my most played game, but Kirby Air Ride is special.
For
So
me, it was Wind Waker.
We'll never top the hype of unlocking the Hydra and the Dragoon, man.
man,
And realize that, man, the Hydra kind of sucks.
it's OP if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
The problem is, nobody knows how to use it. So Mario Kart World, again, looks fantastic. I'm sure other people are gonna have things to say there, so I'll wait until then. I'll go ahead and talk about the gorilla in the room, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Man, if only somebody had predicted this last week, right? Here's the thing.
Get out of here.
How did I know? And I'm not at liberty to disclose at this time, but all will become known. Anyways.
Your uncle works at Nintendo?
Wow.
Yes. My uncle is Mario of the Mario Brothers. So no, this was super cool.
Yeah.
Now, from the looks of it, there was rumor coming. There's been rumor for years. It's been an industry-wide rumor that the Mario Odyssey team was working on a Donkey Kong platformer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's been a rumor for like multiple years now.
Nintendo has done this weird thing in the last 4 to 5 years here, where they will not disclose who is working on a game. That's just Nintendo's things. It's just if it has the Nintendo logo on it, it's a Nintendo developed game. That's all you need to know. And they won't say what actual studio did it until you've been in the game and you're playing through the credits and you read every last word to be able to catch it. But this really looks like Tokyo EAD here. This looks like the Mario Odyssey team. And if this is the Mario Odyssey team,
some of the areas even look similar to Odyssey.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And in a sense, it's also like that's just kind of the Nintendo style now. Like, there's also touch points with, with Kirby Forgotten Land and stuff like that. This is just kind of how Nintendo games look now. But strikingly similar. You're right. My only thing is based on the what people are talking about in their time with the demos, it seems like the gameplay really is just destroy everything, and hopefully that's fun for you. The platforming seems to be pretty minimal. It's not necessarily janky, but you're playing as this sluggish, oversized gorilla. So you're not going to be hopping around like Mario.
In the trailer.
Yeah, so this seems to be kind of platforming light, but it's just another collectathon that's well presented, and I just hope it ends up being more to it than that, because
hopefully there's some good challenges, because I really liked the ones they had in Odyssey. They did a good job with those.
Yeah, I hope they do something interesting with this. We saw through the trailer that there was like these little 2D sections, just like what happened in Mario Odyssey, and also this wasn't shown in their trailers, but the Korean website for Nintendo accidentally leaked Pauline, or someone who looks just like Pauline, is in the game. So on the box art, you can see when Donkey Kong getting ready to punch down that his tie looks like it's really loose. On the Korean website, it's been taken down, but they had a banner going across that was the cover art, but where Donkey Kong's tie is kind of hanging loose, it was Pauline hanging on to it.
Wow.
There's
one thing I hate. Why has it got to be the Seth Rogen Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I was curious what
I
you guys
hate the
thought
redesign,
of
man.
the new design.
I'll be honest.
I do like the old one better. I'll be honest too.
Well,
I don't hate it. But yeah.
All I see is that stupid Seth Rogen doing the peck thing in the Mario movie, man.
So let's be accurate.
It's kind
when
of
we
a
say
little
this.
bit of a throwback
yeah.
in some regards because it
Yes,
has the
yeah,
deep
so-
set eyes like the older Donkey Kong.
Yeah, so this is what
I
when
like
we're
Crair's
talking
Donkey
different
about when we
Donkey
say
Kong.
we like the old one. When we talk about how we like the old one, we're talking about the Donkey Kong Country, the rare
Yeah,
Donkey
Rare
Kong.
Ware's
And
Donkey Kong.
I like Rare's Donkey Kong. I like Rare's Donkey Kong more than this. I don't mind this.
Mhm.
If they're not going to
I
continue
don't hate
Donkey
it.
Kong Country, if Rare and Retro are not going to be able to keep doing stuff with Donkey Kong, I don't mind this being our guy going forward. I will always be partial and prefer the Rare Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
I think he just looks cool. This guy just
it might
does
just be
not
for
look
this
cool.
game. It's possible.
Well, Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, and Mario Kart too, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Although
We'll see.
Mario Kart, they'd redesigned most of the
Oh,
characters.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, even Mario got a redesign.
But I think technically, like lore wise,
Granted, it was small.
like I saw a picture, and I guess there's like different Donkey Kongs. So this could just be like the first Donkey Kong. It might not be. It's in my head. It's
Yeah.
not the same guy. It's
We'll
different
see.
guy.
We'll see. But having Pauline there does
Frankie Kong.
lend, hints to this could just be the old Donkey Kong. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
I think what this does say to me is that when we saw Donkey Kong in the movies and we were like, what's with this design? It's because they wanted him to look like the Donkey Kong going forward, which is going to be this iteration.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's what I read out of it.
Well,
I don't
especially
think that
'cause they
they
have
made
multiple
this look
movies
like the
planned.
movies. I think they made the movies
Mhm.
look like this.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Bo. I have an inkling of what your hype game from the thing was. I'll have to go ahead.
Inkling, was there a Splatoon 4 reveal?
No, Benny and the Ink Machine
No,
3.
I got that wrong. Yeah. Besides the Duskbloods, I'm still super hyped for Metroid Prime 4, and they showed more
Yeah.
gameplay of it, and it looks
That
incredible.
makes me more hopeful than anything. Is seeing like that look as good as it does and run as smooth as it was.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm definitely getting that on Switch too, and it's gonna play it super well. I'm excited for that.
This is 9 out of 10 written all over it, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
No, this is a good thing. This is a good thing
Not-
because
not
Donkey
as
Kong
frustrating.
Country or Donkey Kong Bonanza, 8 at best. That could be a 7. We'll see.
It's gonna be
But this is gonna be an
afterthought once
amazing game.
Pokemon Z and A comes out.
It's going to be an amazing game. I don't think it's going to be Prime 1 based on what we've seen, but it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard. It's hard
and-
to say. I almost want to
Yeah.
look at more of the gameplay to see what it's gonna be like, but I'm goes
the
against like all my instincts to do that.
yeah. Did you watch the Treehouse? 20 minutes
Nope.
with it. It's just the opening section, and it's just a bunch of action.
Okay.
It's just nonstop shooting. A lot of shooting. A lot
Oh,
of
really?
enemies going down.
Okay.
I think the main issue they're going to have is I think some of these games might be kind of like overshadowed by a drag drive, the wheelchair Rocket League.
Yeah, drag.
Yeah, I remember making
how
a
did
comment
they?
about that one when they-
I never know what the X
Well,
means.
drag cross drive is what it says, but when they say it in the trailer, they say drag and drive.
Okay,
They kind of talked that one up weirdly, and then showed it. I was like, "What the?"
we
heck?
made this
Why
mouse
did they
feature,
talk
man.
it
What
up
do we do?
this much?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, I didn't know that there was even mouse compatibility
Yeah, you
with
take
it.
your mouse like this
Uh,
and you move the wheels. They got Kanye West because he scored all those points against the wheelchair basketball players. They got him to work on the game for him.
Oh my word!
That's good.
Speaking of controversial figures, let's move on to some
Oh
of
my
the.
gosh.
We can just kind of quickly go through some of these because I'm sure you've had you guys listeners have had your fill of hearing people talk about
Everyone
these.
and their mother have heard about this.
We talked about the camera earlier. We covered that. We made some hints and jokes here about the pricing of things. Like, just a quick reaction to your guys' thoughts on the announcement that premium games will be $80, and then is every game going to be $70, or is it only Nintendo games will be $70?
So, I think
Disappointed.
here's the thing. I this is one that I didn't see it coming, but I really should have. It makes sense. Nintendo
Tears of the
wants to
Kingdom
get
was a
every dollar
sign.
that they can out of this because, I mean, you talk to developers who put out third-party games on Switch, and those cartridges are expensive. You need to if to put something on cartridge, and this is why Limited Run was having so much trouble. But really, to break even, you need to upcharge the game by $20, or you need to sell literally like 2 million copies. It's crazy. These things are super expensive. So,
So it's
Yeah.
$20 cheaper on the digital edition.
on the digital side, perhaps.
You'd think.
But Nintendo's not going to miss a chance to fill that bag. You know, we should have seen this coming. I think it's a
Yeah,
bad
it's pretty
call.
clear that's their
I
priority
think
now.
Yeah.
I think things are just going to continue to balloon. We'll see what happens with GTA 6 later in the year, because here's the thing:
Yeah, people are already joking about that being $100.
is Mario Kart World Tour about to be more expensive than GTA 6? And that's the thing where I'm like, no. until this
think-
point, I was 100% convinced that GTA 6 was going to come out, be $69.99. After this, I'm like,
What are the
they're
odds they're just kind
probably
of sitting back,
licking
trying to
their
see
lips
how
and
things
rubbing their
sell?
hands.
I hope to think that people are just not going to buy it, and that'll make them change it. But people will always prioritize like
It's gonna hurt them
their
a lot.
hobby over everything. So people are just going to buy it anyway, even if it's crazy expensive.
I mean,
don't
I'm
think
gonna
people can afford to buy it. There's a lot of people
They'll
who
do it.
keep-
They'll
like
put
in
it on
other
payment
countries
plans.
in particular. It's pretty bad.
it's a will
I mean, I'm already like, man, how am I gonna get all these games?
right.
They're
Yeah.
$80.
And I
Like,
think you had
that's so
mentioned it the
expensive.
last time
And
we
it-
talked, where
And of everything that's up, real quick thought to mention is that everything that's up, it is still just Mario Kart World is the only $80 game. Everything else is $70.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense because Tears of the Kingdom beforehand was the only one that had that $10 premium upcharge. So they're just continuing what they were doing before, and they just raised their price to match the rest of the industry. It's actually not all that big a
I heard they were
deal.
upcharging
They're not
the
scheming.
Switch to like upscale. Is that right? Or no?
Oh, no. It's people.
Maybe that was
People
just a
thought
rumor.
that these were going to be free. That anyone who has the
Yep.
Switch
didn't think they
1
were gonna be
version was going to get the Switch 2 version for free, and that's not what's happening. You buy an add-on for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
'cause it's clear that it's
Mhm.
there's some kind of work going in to actually make it work.
yeah,
Otherwise, we'd be getting all of them right away.
exactly. Yeah, and I don't think we're going to get it for every game. I think they told
probably not.
us that things like they cited Mario Odyssey in particular, saying it will run better on your Switch 2, rather than saying there's a dedicated version of it.
Yeah.
Which I think makes sense because Mario runs just fine. I think
Yeah,
they
it
did
runs
it
pretty
for
well.
the games where they're like, hey, these have a little bit of trouble. These could really benefit from a performance upgrade.
Something.
And you
Anyways,
can just
I
pop
thi-
in the
I
Switch 1
think-
card if you need to.
I think the $70 cartridges from Nintendo, in the grand scheme of things, not too big a deal. I do think it's another sign that the industry is, as game prices are ballooning, is inching towards closer and closer to another crash. I don't think it's going to be
Possibly.
anything major, but I think it's going to be kind of a replay of the just what happened 25 years ago, switching to the PS2 Xbox era. I
Yeah.
don't think it's all too big a deal there. It's just frustrating because we know Nintendo's not going to drop their prices, unlike every other game that comes out.
Something you had mentioned last week was that Nintendo's plan is to like sell multiple consoles per household. I think at what, $450
Oh yeah.
plus the price of games, I think
Yeah,
that
they're
kind of
not-
goes out the
that's not
window
their plan
because I
anymore.
don't know too many people who are going to be spending $1,000 to get their kids. Which is
Yeah, this is
only
this
rich
is going to be an
households,
interesting thing.
probably.
So yeah, are we ready to talk console here and console price?
Yeah, this is kind of going.
Yeah, I think we're
overall.
just
So
guys on
I-
price in
Controversy.
general now.
I think unfortunately this console price makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
because
makes
there's a
sense
couple
when you
things
know what's
happening
in it,
here.
yeah.
So I made my prediction. I put my neck out on the chopping block, saying take it to the bank. This was going to be 400, and everybody planned on 400, and they made their moves based on that, and you're going to come up $50 shy. I'm sorry for that. So,
But when you trade
where
your
this
Switch,
yeah, when you trade in your Switch, you get 20 of those dollars.
Yeah.
So, but if you have
Yeah.
the Pro membership at GameStop, no. But this to me makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to defend the Switch game prices because I still think it's dumb since they're never going to drop the price anyways. They should have.
I
The
saw
only
people
reason we're
online
okay
saying
with
just wait for a
$60.
sale.
Yeah, what sale?
Exactly.
You know, it'll go on sale for a
Most
weekend,
video-
digital
and
only.
it
Most
was also
videos and
announced
most posts
they're not
drop the price as a wall of text.
Yeah, it also said they're discontinued. So the the 2 for
Yep.
100 will apply to Switch 2 games. The little deal you can
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, whatever. It all makes sense. It's frustrating, but it makes sense,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel about this $450 Switch 2 price. What goes into this
I don't mind the
is
console price so much. It's
there
not too
there
bad.
has
Yeah, I feel
been
like it's all right.
so tech has gotten cheaper across the board, but they're not just making a small upgrade to this. I mean, your Switch is not much better than a PS3.
It's true.
Hey, at least it can run
it's and
Skyrim.
in some ways, it
PS3 can't do
right?
that.
Yeah. So there's that. So this is a pretty major upgrade for them. So even though tech generally has gotten cheaper, Nintendo didn't increase by a regular amount that we kind of expect them to do. They didn't go from their PS3 to PS4 kind of thing. Instead, they're going from PS3 to PS5 basically. Like that's a couple generations of tech they're jumping forward, and I'm using these terms very loosely here. So tech guys don't get all up in my DMs. But that we are having DLSS, that we're having ray tracing, that we are upscaling to 4K, that we have HDR LCD, which not as expensive as it sounds. That's already like, okay, this is going to cost a little bit more. Then on top of that, you also have the dock doesn't just do nothing anymore.
Yeah.
You have a dock that actually has a fan that does the upscaling to 4K. That does it has it has the mic inside. It actually puts in work this time. It's not just sitting there to look pretty. It actually means something now. Hence why it costs almost twice as much. And then your Joy-Con have additional features now. The magnet's a lot more expensive, even though it's going to reduce you having to buy multiple, Joy-Con. Hopefully they'll actually last the entire, at least most of the generation, instead of you having to switch them out on an annual basis. Plus the IR functionality with the mouse.
Taking out
your
price,
additional mics.
you're only paying like $240 for the actual console itself, the actual like tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So 450 minus 120
plus,
for, or no,
roughly.
is it 110 for the?
Oh, it's 110 plus 90. So yeah,
So
your
250.
actual Switch.
So like half the price, or just under half the price is.
Yeah.
the
So you're paying
accessories.
$250 for the Switch. This
So the
unfortunately
non-dock
makes a lot
model
of sense.
will probably be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But let's
never
also
do
look at
that.
this way. If you look at the I'm going to call them handheld PCs that are out there. Your handheld PCs. Things like your ROG Ally, things like your Steam Decks, the multiple iterations of it. The most bare bones, the cheapest of all the Steam Decks, which has a lot of problems, is $400. This is better than that. Plus, it plays Nintendo games, and it's coming in at $450. This unfortunately just makes a lot of sense. But Matthew's right. I don't know who this is for anymore. I don't know if they want everybody
Us.
to upgrade to this. I wonder if they're going to come in really quick with a Switch 2 Lite edition.
Yeah.
I don't know what their game plan is here, what they're doing going forward. I wonder if they just feel like we're on top of the world, we're top dog, and that's where Nintendo's gotten into the most trouble in the past. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I
definitely
don't
a pride
feel
move
great
for a
about
little
it,
bit.
but
Yeah.
it
That might bite
makes yeah, we'll see what happens. I think in a sense, I feel like their hand was forced because they're like, well, we can't put out our Switch 2 after everybody else has put out their version of the Switch.
Yeah.
And their versions are better. We'll see what happens, but I think unfortunately this price increase makes sense. I was absolutely right that this has nothing to do with tariffs because the tariffs are the reason I can't pre-order my Switch yet. Because I'm sure they're trying to figure out their strategy with this, trying to see are these tariffs actually going to hold for long term? Can we just wait them out and then start shipping things afterwards where we're not going to have to eat on this? Because they're not going to raise that price.
This might be a
The
generational
price
fumble
got
for
raised all
Nintendo.
across the board. It would give me
It seems like a
every
perfect
other
storm of bad
generational
things
fumble.
happened to him.
Right?
10-year.
They couldn't have
There's
picked.
a lot of bad things
They
all at once.
couldn't have
Yeah.
picked a
Some of
worse
it their
time
own
to put
fault.
this out. This needed to come out last year.
Yeah.
And they dropped the ball on that. They wanted so much to be like, okay, we're going to be ready for all these scalpers and things like that. They have their tens of millions of Switches ready to go, and no, and now they're not going to be able to put them in the hands of the gamers. No, this was rough. This really needed to happen last year, and I feel
Or
for
even
them.
like a month sooner.
Yeah,
like
some-
I wouldn't even. It needs to be a little more.
Oh
than
yeah,
that,
like 3 months
but
sooner. But you know what I
buy
mean.
more.
But the
Yeah,
point is, it's going to be a big year for game. It's going to be a big year for Nintendo with some big oopsies potentially around the corner for them. You know what? I think it's time we downsize a little bit and get something a little more mini.
yeah,
Let's
lay
see.
off half the Nintendo staff.
Yes. And we're going to get to a little something called...
Make all those games mini games.
Yeah, we do. It's a little something new. We're calling it Rate My Summary. Title tentative to change. We'll see how it goes. Basically, the point of the game, I'm going to read a game summary, the rating summary from the ESRB page for 5 games. We're going to let these knuckleheads, I guess they can make a Wario sound or something if they got the guess. This will be the first time we're doing this, so
Wow.
we might have some... might be some issues with it on my end, me being the guy doing it, but we'll see how it goes. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Why?
Ah.
All right. So I'm trying to. So do I read the?
So you kind of
Read the
check through,
description
and so you don't want to read the very top of the description because that'll describe
Okay.
the actual like.
So I'll just read. I'll just
specifics
start
of
from the
game.
bottom area, and I'll kind of move up if you guys can't get it.
Sure, okay, I think that's a
Okay.
great way to do it.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's great.
Several sequences depict waves of aliens attacking players or shooting them with blasters. Alien creatures emit green splatters when hit, and some environments and objects are stained with green splashes near alien corpses.
Is this one we buzz in for?
Yeah.
Could you read it again?
Several sequences depict waves of aliens attacking players or shooting them with blasters. Alien creatures emit green splatters when hit, and some environments and objects are stained with green splashes near alien corpses.
I'm trying to think of one where the aliens actually emit green because a lot of games just do red now. So I feel like this is like
Yeah.
a T-rated game.
Might need more than that.
I'm gonna go with what was the Star Fox game on Wii U? I'm gonna say this is Star Fox Wii U.
Star
I know
Fox
it's not, but
64
that's what I'm going
remake.
with.
All right, that is incorrect. So I will read a little
Alright.
more, and then Bo will get a chance to do it here.
All right.
From a first person.
Oh, do we only go
Huh?
for the entire round,
Well, he just
or
gets
is
a
it one for
chance.
each line that you read?
Huh?
Oh, I getcha.
I guess we can switch it up. From a first-person perspective, players use an arm cannon to solve puzzles, scan items, and shoot enemies.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
That is Metroid Prime.
Buzz.
Remastered.
Buzz. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
said
got it.
Yep, there we go. Remastered.
Yeah, remastered.
That is 1
Yep.
point for the
Yep.
Boaster.
Sweet. Yeah. Love that game.
Oh my
This
goodness,
is
this is a
nice.
long one. Okay.
That was good. That's a good pull.
Forgot they bleed green. Like you don't think about it, and then it's like, oh yeah, they do bleed green.
Yep. Some things do. But yeah.
Yeah, not
I
every
picked the
enemy-
bad
enemy
one. I'm
bleeds.
gonna say that one for last.
Oh,
Oh dear.
now I'm curious.
It's just kind of funny.
Pretty
I just gotta
bad.
figure out how to read that.
Oh boy.
Let's see. We'll go here. Okay. Cutscenes contain more intense instances of violence. A man and an infant shot. The latter accidentally shot. A character shooting a comatose patient in the head. A man stabbing himself.
Oh, got it. Buzz.
Yes.
Fallout 4.
No.
What?
A man stabbing himself repeatedly in the distance. A handful of scenes depict a
Oh, it's not.
character with his buttocks
'cause you don't-
exposed.
Oh.
The words bleep and bleep appear in dialogue.
Is it Fallout New Vegas?
No.
Ah.
All right, I'll read
Well, that
up
means
one
Bo gets
more
another
here.
guess. Because he
Well-
apparently knows it.
Well, now you guys can. So since you guys both
Well,
got
I knew.
this.
I knew it wasn't Fallout after I said Fallout 4 after I said it.
As players traverse
Okay.
mountainous terrain, they can be attacked by human settlers and ghostly apparitions. Players use.
Oh, is this Death Stranding?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh.
All right, we're tied
Oh,
1-1
man.
here.
I even had the image of my
I forgot the
in
baby
my
gets
head.
like, yeah.
Spoiler alert! Oh my goodness.
Wow. You just read it.
I think that's funny. They put that in the rating summary.
Well, it's not a plot
Oh,
I
point.
yeah.
have to.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
The comatose patient being shot is a plot point, but there's multiple bridge babies.
Okay. When players are attacked, splashes of blood appear on screen. Large blood stains and pools of blood are also visible in some areas. Players can encounter human corpses lying on the ground. Some are naked with visible male genitalia, while others are decapitated or dismembered.
Oh.
I'll continue reading. From a first-person perspective, the players navigate castle environments, solve puzzles, and avoid zombie-like creatures.
Castle, huh? Okay, that goes way. I was thinking Dead Space kind of stuff, but a castle environment.
Wait.
You explore
There's not
castle environments,
genitalia
huh?
in that game. Is that what it is?
Let's see here.
What is this?
This one's more of a
So
deeper
it
one here.
Deeper.
Give,
Okay.
give me a second to think through this. So
Shoot.
it from the way that they're talking about exploring castles, I feel like that's going to be a main thing of the game. So because my thing was Witcher at first, but that doesn't seem to be quite adding up. I wonder if the castle is kind of throwing this out. Maybe it's not necessarily like an
Like an actual castle.
Well, maybe it's not like a medieval kind of thing. Maybe it's just
Uh-huh.
like a modern society that happens to have castles in it. For some, this is super weird, but I think I remember there being. Is this Dishonored?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no male genitalia in Dishonored.
This this kind of spoils it, but this is a horror adventure game in which players assume the role of a man attempting to recover from self-induced blank.
Buzz. Is this Silent Hill 2
No,
remake?
it is not.
Okay.
This horror adventure game in which players assume the role of a man attempting to recover from self-induced blank. It's from a first-person perspective where players navigate castle environments, solve puzzles, and avoid zombie-like
Self-induced.
creatures.
Buzz.
Yes.
I didn't think that this was in it, but Resident Evil 8.
No. I will read it without the
it.
blank. And we'll see. Who
Okay,
gets
yeah,
it.
that'll probably give it to me.
Well, it's going to be Amnesia. Oh, wait,
Don't
is
know
it
that.
Amnesia?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Ah. Man, I didn't even think Amnesia for some reason. I don't know why.
I never played that game because of how gratuitous it is.
I only
But I've
remember
seen
from
it.
watching
I've
Conan play it.
unfortunately seen enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, from Clueless Gamer,
Yep.
which Clueless
Luckily, I
Gamer
had
is
the
doing
platinum for
another
that
thing.
game, and I couldn't
up.
think of it.
You platinumed Amnesia, or oh no, you platinumed
Amnesia
the Dark
Collection.
Descent. Oh, Amnesia Collection. Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Which has like multiple. Yeah,
Couldn't do it.
it wasn't that good.
That is 3. So it's
It's
one,
okay.
2 to Big Null and 1 for Bo there. Well, what game was it? Oh, I accidentally closed out of the tab and I forgot what game I put.
Check your history.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I got it. Okay,
Who were
this
you?
is
I
not that
don't
one,
know
but
your history.
enemies cry out in pain when struck, and sometimes takedowns are highlighted by brief slow motion effects and loud impact sounds. Some sequences allow players to use tank-like vehicles with machine gun turrets and rockets to shoot enemies.
That's not what I was going for. I was starting out at,
Oh, wait.
Street Fighter
No, never
6.
mind.
A vehicle's wheels are also used to torture enemies in one sequence. Cutscenes depict characters getting shot on and off camera while restrained or unarmed. Large bloodstains and pools of blood appear in crime scenes in the aftermath of violent acts. One room depicts a person torturing a character on a bloody operating table. During the course of the game, players can shoot unarmed characters and a hostage. Neon signs in a red light district read naked ladies.
Shoot,
That's the
I
whole
don't know.
description.
That is not. I can read the rest.
Oh no,
I can keep reading here.
it just seemed like a lot.
That's like
okay.
that's
Yeah,
like
that is a lot.
sorry, that's like 2/3. I just kind of kept going.
Okay.
Shoot, I don't know.
Give us just the end.
That was wait, huh?
It's just the last sentence,
Oh,
like on the bottom of the summary.
during the course of the game, neon signs appear in a red light district area.
Oh, second to last.
During the course of the game, players can shoot unarmed characters and a hostage. Players can traverse a
I have a
variety.
weird thought of what it could be.
Players can traverse. Oh yeah, go ahead.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think there's sections where you have like a tank section. Metro Last Light.
No.
Dang
Yes,
it.
though.
Ah,
Is it
yeah, 'cause
Metro
I know
Exodus?
there's like a.
No. Let me continue.
Huh.
Yeah, I know there's like a.
Is
like
that
a
where you say
bar
bad
prostitute
guess?
section? Yeah.
I don't think there's a tank in Metro Exodus. Players traverse a variety of locations
There's a train.
around blank while battling thugs, examining crime scenes, and occasionally rescuing hostages.
Oh, for a second I thought this was going to be GTA 5.
Players engage in melee-style combat using punches, kicks, and gadgets.
Punches, kicks, and gadgets. Gadgets. Can you get a
Gadgets.
tank in Watch Dogs?
All right, Bo, what's your guess? You said Buzz?
No, I didn't.
Oh, never mind then.
But I can't think of a game where you are investigating crime scenes and use a tank. That's where I'm drawing
This
a blank.
is a live-action event.
Oh, Buzz.
Yeah.
Is this Arkham
No,
Knight?
Yeah. It's
Oh, yes.
So now
you're
we're
I don't know
exactly
why that
right.
didn't click, and I was
You're
like, "Oh
exactly
yeah,
right.
it's a tank kind of." That's why.
We are
Yeah,
tied
Yes.
2-2 here.
great game. I think people give the car too much hate. I actually really like.
I
the
think it had a
car in
bad
Arkham Knight.
launch, but
Yeah,
I mean, I've
it's a
never
really
played
fun
it
game. Still,
at launch, so don't matter to me. Let's see. I feel like launch can only hold, like, you can really hold that against it, like when, like, the first year or two.
yeah, when a game has a bad PC launch, that's pretty
Yeah.
rough.
So this next was the hard one, huh?
Yeah. Well, this is just the one that's longer to read. Players select
Okay.
weapon and
So wait, real quick. Are you going to do the thing where you read like the last sentence and then work your way up like you did with the other ones? Or are you going to read a big chunk like you did before?
I'll just read sections at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Players select weapon and magic attacks, or type 2-2. Select weapon and magic attacks from summon blank creatures to kill enemies. Battles are accompanied by impact.
I'm sorry, could I get that sentence again?
Players select weapon and magic attacks from summoned blank creatures to kill enemies. Battles are accompanied by impact sound, gunfire, and cries of pain.
Is this Pow World?
No.
Ah,
I'll continue the next sentence
Gunfire.
here.
Yeah, go
Cutscenes
for it.
also contain instances of violence. A body hanging from a telephone pole.
Buzz.
Oh,
This is Persona 4.
yeah,
Golden.
I got it as soon as he said Buzz. Gosh, dang it.
All right. And that is the last one, which means
Well, because
Golden.
after
Wins 3-2.
after Pal World, I immediately thought, okay, Persona, because I was
Yeah.
trying. Yeah, right on.
Woohoo.
Yeah, the
GG.
telephone pole is the giveaway there.
Yeah, it is.
Wow,
It
spoiler
is.
alert.
Yeah,
It's in the opening.
yeah.
The opening cutscene.
Wow, spoiler. Just kidding. I mean, basically, it
Nice.
feels like it. It's early on. Man,
Yeah,
I hope
it's
that-
the first case.
This
I
is
hope
hard
that
'cause I'm,
remake is
trying to
real.
figure out like games that are like not going to be super obvious or whatnot. But I
like-
but
I
also
like the
still
ones you chose.
guessable.
Yeah.
But I thought these were really good. I thought
Nice.
these were
Yeah, those-
excellent
that's really good.
choices.
Woohoo.
With on the note of Persona 4, I really hope the remake is real, because there is a lot of evidence that it is, and Persona 4 Golden, even that upgraded version, is still kind of rough.
Persona 3
I
Reload sold pretty well, so there's a high chance that it'll get remade.
Oh yeah. I loved Persona 3 Reload. I preferred that
need to
over
get it.
Persona 4 Golden.
I need to get it.
I was about to offer you to come by and pick it up, but I just remembered I don't have a physical version of it. I think it's.
So
I
you're
think I
still
have
waiting
it
for
on
the
Game
physical?
Pass.
Digital.
I'm waiting for the physical to drop to 20 or less.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of the Uncle Cyborg Show. Let us know in the comments, man, why do you think Nintendo's poopy? And what's your most hype Nintendo game from this Direct? And we'll shout you out next week, the best comment. I'm Matthew. That's
Yeah.
Super Nolan Man. One of those is Super Nolan Man. That one is the High Roll King. And we will catch you guys